Who's the really short?
Sully or Charlie?
Just love that kid tries harder than anybody I've ever seen. I love it. Just
All set.
all right, call this meeting to order. All right, do we have any additions to the agenda?
So do we have the memo, is it on here?
For the LBSA stuff,
Yes.
it's item D. I assume we can just cover everything under that. With the
Okay.
scoreboard.
I don't need to add, right, just go during my.
Just during the report.
I feel like there was something else.
Well, there was 4 topics
Yeah.
in there. Do you just want us to cover the LBSA stuff all under section D?
Yes, I thought there was an attachment, but I don't see it.
Right, that's the memo that you sent, right, or the,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that email.
Yeah, and I included that in the packet, but it's not on yours. Do you want me to print it off quick? I can.
not the memo? I can just get it from my phone.
No, it's a separate
Okay.
one. It was an email that Sarah sent, so.
Okay.
It was so well put, I didn't see a need to write a memo on it.
It was, wasn't it?
You're good at this job.
All right, since there's no additions, can we vote to approve the previous?
I'll motion to approve. I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Visitors? No.
Do we have, how many do we need?
We're good. We have 6 members, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now minutes from the March 20th. Do we have any fixes to it, or are we gonna approve them as is?
I did make some fixes to it, but I'll say there about that later.
Thank you. I haven't had time hearing. I ended up calling in.
It was a misspell, that's it, so.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the minutes. Somebody's gonna throw.
We did, right?
No, we did I'll motion to approve, we did the agenda.
We did the agenda.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, the minutes, yep. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
There we go. All right, now we're gonna move to reports. Can we have the reports from our recreation manager?
So softball tournament teams. We found a snag with players being able to not being able to be on 2 official rosters, which means they would, if they're on a travel team, they would not be able to play in the rec league, or if they're on a rec league roster, they're not able to play on a tournament team roster.
Yep.
And I was just informed of this and had no idea that was the rule.
Nope, I
So
didn't
it's
know
different
that.
than baseball.
Oh,
Yeah, so baseball, you can be on multiple rosters. Softball, in other words, likes to be different.
So I was just talking with Trey about this. I went through, not the entire 2024 rule book because it's 226 pages. But I did go through and I didn't see any mention of anything like this. So you've asked Linda
Yeah.
for some
I
clarification.
asked if it was the USA softball rule or.
It's USA softball.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So my thought was maybe to axe the tournament team, the official tournament team this year, do the rec, but possibly offer to cover a tournament, whether it's one they find or.
Are there tournaments that we can do outside?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So that's not that big of a,
Any team can join a tournament.
Yeah.
As long as you have an official roster, any one of those teams can go, if it's a sanctioned tournament. Now, there's lots of tournaments that aren't sanctioned. that they
so
can
what
go to.
can't we do then?
You can't take from 2 separate rec teams and build a
Make
team.
one,
to
yeah,
go to
you
the
can't make a
tournament.
super team.
Yes, so it'd be this rec team could go as a team
Mhm.
to this tournament.
So there's 3 12U teams, all 3 12U teams could go to the state tournament, or could go to a tournament.
Because there's a rec state.
Yeah, there's a rec division.
Otherwise, we would have.
So
to
the only
disrupt-
risk there is that we'd be paying for multiple teams instead of one, right?
It'd be
That's
at
the
most
only-
3 tournaments per age group.
But it would be the same then as paying 3 for the one.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be a wash.
Well, we could do more tournaments than just the state tournament.
Right,
Mhm.
I guess I think that's your answer.
yeah.
Have keep the rec teams, but we'll,
What if there's people that play rec that don't wanna do tournaments? Then you
They don't
might-
have to.
You just have to have enough to go.
you have
But that's
enough,
what I'm
but you have enough
saying.
for the team, for the
You
roster.
can use a pickup player.
You can get 3 pickup players per tournament.
My
But can they,
goodness,
can-
this is complicated.
Yeah, it is.
that's just what I,
Yeah.
you know, like if I'm on a rec team, it might be because I am only out there
Right.
to have
Right.
Right.
fun. I don't want to do tournaments.
Right.
I don't know, I'm just.
Yeah.
So,
And not, all of them might not wanna go. I mean, the odds of all of them wanting, like last year, none of the teams wanted to go. Like, we were like, do you guys want, anybody wanna go to state? You know, and like, we were gonna find, and they're like, nobody wanted, you know,
and if
So-
state's too intimidating
Yeah.
for some of them, you could find a different
right.
small town one, it's still a tournament, and go
And-
for the day and have fun, and
And there's lots of them, like right across in Iowa, still USA, that are, they have lots of tournaments over there that you can just get into a one-day tournament.
Yeah.
So Northwest Iowa's lots of stuff.
When were tryouts supposed to be?
You
2
get to go.
Saturdays ago.
Yeah,
We had enough for tournament teams, but
I just
I
found
think
this
it-
out last week.
breaks policy if we were to try and reconstruct the rec teams, so that way all the
Oh,
tournament
right,
kids could be.
absolutely.
yeah.
So,
I just wondered how many people tried out for the.
Oh, we didn't do it, yeah. There was 14 on the 12U,
14 on 14,
And
14 on
12.
12U, and
10 on 10.
10 on 10U. So I figured the first year, those that were willing to go to tryouts, they'll just make the team instead of going through and cutting 1, 2 people tops.
And so now knowing this, next year, we can go in and say, if people wanna do a tournament team, that will be the one roster that they're on, they won't be able to play rec. So if there are enough people, then we could offer that then, if kids just wanted to do that and not do rec.
And if there's tryouts, if you don't make it, then you would still be able to do rec.
But since weren't able to inform anybody early enough, it would be like, I don't wanna pull the rug out of somebody.
if we constructed a tournament team first, and then they wanted to participate in rec, could we do that?
The tournament team could play in rec, yes. And this, whoever's coaching the tournament team, it would be, the pitching is usually the only thing that's really superior for the other teams. You would just not have them throw their best pitcher, or you can make, whoever's coaching it can make it competitive. You can make it so you're not gonna thump somebody. That's what the coach wants to do.
Chelsea?
You guys don't seem particularly worried about any of this.
About what?
About changing how we're doing it.
We don't have any options.
That's what I'm thinking.
I
It is
mean,
what
it's
it
just,
is.
yeah, we don't, because I mean, after I found that out, I started asking around and they really will, like, if they catch people doing this, they'll suspend the players for a year and the coaches for 3, I think they said, from being involved in anything ASA or USA.
I just take this as an opportunity to say again how I don't like tournament teams in the rec system.
Yeah,
I
so,
didn't know that.
I know I've never
You
said it
said
before. I sensed an opportunity and an opening to say it.
Just thought I'd put it out there.
Maybe we just keep it simple and offer the opportunity if they wanna go,
if they want to
To a
go to a
tournament.
tournament,
that it'd be covered.
Did have some people reach out as well about the tournament team, that since there wasn't tryouts, they maybe weren't as hyped about doing it,
yeah,
so that could.
work in our favor this year.
I just feel bad that I didn't know about that rule.
I didn't I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, I have no clue. I've never tried to do 2 rosters, you know, that's always been.
So what's the decision, then? What are we doing?
I just think 3 rec teams, and if they wanna go to a tournament, let them go to a tournament.
And if we can do more tournaments, everybody's good with
Yeah.
that? Okay. If this is the first year we're doing tournaments in softball,
Yeah.
it might be worth it to just spend a little extra and do some extras.
Actually, kind of get them introduced to, if it's something they enjoyed, you know, if we change it next year to choosing one or the other.
Yeah. it'll be
So
easy.
I would take a look at a variety of dates and tournaments that they could do, and just see if, you know, what teams are interested, and can you roster a team for that?
And most allow you to kind of choose your level.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you go to a tournament, you pick what level you're going, yes, it's,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I'm going into rec tournament with a rec team, I'm saying I'm playing rec.
I think even state last year, they offered like it could be the C division and then there was an A, B, C and rec, all within that subdivision. That you could go play at state.
Yeah, so they make it, they try to make it as fair as possible. There's always teams that sandbag who wanna win it.
No, I was gonna say, what if there's an A team
You
that
always
says, oh,
do.
we're definitely a C?
There always is, and then
Do they get
they
suspended?
go through a year, well, they go through a year, they win it all, and then they're not let back down, they're made to play up. So, they get 1 year of glory, and, you know, we beat all the teams that we should have beaten anyways, and
Youth sports are fun.
and their parents get to take lots of selfies with them, saying, our kid's the champ. We are the champions.
Just play the song on speaker.
Yeah, on their phones.
Okay.
So the pickup player can be on multiple rosters?
Yes, only 3, but they can't be on, if you pick them up for a tournament, one team does, they can't go from one team and then to another team, then another team, so just one team per tournament.
Usually you have to submit a roster when you're putting in your
Yeah, when you-
paperwork for
yeah.
the tournament, so. But then you would only need 7 girls probably from our rec team and then that wanted to go, and then you could pick up 3.
It's fun.
What's next?
So flag football in the fall, Coach Flanagan reached out to me as he has ran a flag football league before at his previous town. And brought up kind of doing it together as we have sports engine connections and to reach out and I don't know how, if we would have a percentage go to football program for him finding, kind of setting up a lot of it and finding refs he said he'd do. Reached out to the AD about using the main field and the practice field, which could fit 4 flag football fields on each. So we have 8 fields. We kind of wanted to get a decision soon so we can.
So
Team
South
is
Dakota
K through
junior
6.
football, registration's already, like, I know a bunch of 3rd graders for next year have already registered. Like, I've been registered for months.
Yeah,
T Park
but
and
T Park
Rec.
and Rec flag football is not open
Okay.
yet.
It's
So that's
K,
what we
K
wanted.
through 6, $55 for each age division, based on next year's academic year. Registration opens May 13.
So we want-
With a deadline of
if we wanted to do
July
it,
8 deadline. Refund deadline July 31st.
so that's what we thought about. If we want to do it, get it rolling now to where it's open, or at least known to people that it will be open same time as tees.
So, question on that then. Legally, fiscally wise, how does that work? I mean, you know, that would be the only thing is with the splitting of fees or whatever, you know, and that's way beyond my pay grade, so, since I'm free.
What would he be doing?
Who?
What would Flanagan be doing to help out?
He said he has organized it before. He said he'd find probably his football players to do the reffing.
would supply like just the sports engine.
Right, so it wouldn't be a brand new program.
T-shirts,
What's that?
t-shirts,
T-shirts,
do we have flags?
he says he has, I think he might have them already.
Really?
From his past one.
Man, he makes,
And he's probably got-
he makes his own shirts, he's got a shirt press.
Would he,
So,
My fear, I mean, we can see, I just fear that, I wish we would have done this sooner if we were gonna do it, so then people who have already registered.
and my worry, and I said this to Trey, do you think we can pull this off that quickly? Yeah, registration by May 13 is not, it's probably not that challenging, I suppose.
I can
Just
have,
copy whatever T did.
cause I can have
Same website.
those, once I submit a request for registration, it's 5 business days until it's ready.
For the review.
How long is the league supposed to last?
He was
These
thinking,
are, T goes from August, it's 5 weeks and a tournament. So 6 Saturdays, no, excluding Labor Day.
So we would open this up to everybody, whoever wants to come. Not, this wouldn't be just Lennox, this would be
right,
whoever. Is there a minimum amount of teams that we would need? Like, would you have, how many divisions would there be?
I think each
Like,
grade has a
each grade has
division.
their own. So this would go from, like, how many?
K through 6, I think
K
it is.
through 6? Okay.
K through 6 in the team, yeah.
How many do you need in each division? Do you,
I think the flag vote, it's seven on the team, I think, isn't it?
I think
So it's
so.
seven
so
on
7
seven.
on a team,
Or it might be,
but how
It
many
could be
teams?
5 on 5.
might be 5 playing at a time.
Yeah, but this field, yeah, so it's probably 5 on 5, because they're short, yeah, so I bet you it's 5 on 5.
So how many teams per division? Like, do you
Would
want
we
to
need
make
to make it
it,
a
to
league?
make it, yeah,
You would think you would have to have 4.
You
Four
want
at least.
4.
4?
If you didn't have 4, then it would be just the
So 24.
Do we know how many Lennox kids are playing in the team program?
I don't know. But
I think it's a fair.
I think a decent amount do go to T-flag football.
we used to. We
No.
did.
Is it still
At least 3 that I know.
3, like
3
groups
teams.
like
yeah.
that?
But now-
practice here in town.
But this junior football started a flag football, didn't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
they
Oh,
did.
that's right.
what I
Oh,
meant.
that's what
I'm
you're talking
thinking.
This is
Yeah.
what I'm talking about, like.
talking about tackle.
No.
No.
They started a flag football league.
But that's
Partnered
okay.
with
I
I
Vikings.
had to
They're-
register, like I was just looking it up.
They're
In
partnered with the Vikings
February.
When did they start this league?
this year.
We,
They did
oh,
it
last
no, Cohen did it.
No, Griffin did it.
Oh,
We
okay.
were T, we were, and that's been since he was.
Like
in
Cohen
Gardner,
did 1
so-
year of T and then we did South Dakota Junior.
I thought that was.
Sorry.
So
So
I just
is
assumed.
T's more of a rec?
Yes.
This is very rec too. This is
Is it?
just
Yeah.
indoor. So it's always controlled,
It's really nice for a parent.
you know, like the you
Oh,
never
is that where they wear
cancel.
like the jerseys that are like actual NFL
Yes.
teams?
Nope,
Yes.
that is,
Yes.
we didn't, we
We did.
don't.
'Cause I think I went and watched.
They do now because they're partnered with the NFL. So before they might, or I know this year, like the NFL's partnering with Sanford and whatever to do flag football.
Play 16.
It's a play something. So I know they're doing
My
that.
kids have always been South Dakota Junior football, like white on one side, red on the other.
Oh.
And it's just reversible. And they're just South Dakota Junior football.
That's the stuff I'm familiar
Mhm.
with. Not.
And that's all. Cohen and Beckett, that's all we've ever done. But like, so I know there's a group of the 3rd graders that are doing tackle. And then there's a group of them that through South Dakota Junior football have already
Flag.
registered for flag.
Are the dates, what are the dates for that one? I don't know if people would wanna do another one, but if they were 2 different.
The kids might, but the parents might.
Wondering about the dates, if you're gonna run into, fall soccer?
This would be on the ones we don't use.
Okay,
This would be on like the
On
high
the
school
high
field
school field.
and then the practice field next to it
okay, I
is
wasn't
what,
sure.
yeah. Cause that's why we haven't really done it before, cause we didn't know if we'd be able to use those fields.
You could probably, I mean. No, that'd be fine. Well, the only real worry I have is timeline. I mean, I'm sure we can figure out something for Flanagan if he's, you know, making a seasonal employee or something like that. Just to get it going this year. But the timeline, I think you're really,
That is my fear, like,
Yeah.
just because,
Could you
like,
say-
Because of that, what if the
Because
participation
maybe if
is
the older
low?
ones are
What
already
age,
in.
oh yeah, what ages is that?
do you
one?
want to survey it?
this
Like we
is
did?
K through 8.
Mhm.
And this goes August 17th through October 20th. And we've always either played like on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
And then I guess, or not personal question, but do you think if we would have had a sign up, people would have chosen Lennox yet, or are they
Well,
already kind of
possibly.
into
I
the?
mean, personally, I would rather not drive to Sioux Falls.
Right,
right.
I would want to keep it in Lennox.
I just didn't know if people have already done it.
The one thing I like about it is it's indoor.
Yeah.
And it's never getting canceled, you know, like
Yeah.
that. Why we chose this over T is that T field is always a wet swamp mess. And this is always a controlled environment.
So what field do they
It's
use?
a backup retention area, so like the baseball fields, and then you have that big grass behind it, so it's actually a backup water retention for flooding, is what it is.
Oh, so our field,
So-
might-
so they're-
our fields. would
yeah,
be
so-
better.
so it's-
I hate the T.
So that's the fields are always wet, because that's
The
what
T
it
field,
is.
like you literally just.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it rains, it's a
Yeah.
swamp, yeah.
Yeah, like it's
We have
water,
an advantage there, maybe.
The Lennox one would be significantly cheaper.
Right, yeah, because it is
Significantly.
expensive, and I think kids just want to play with their friends.
Mhm.
Right.
So, but I think if we had more time and that hadn't already happened,
Yeah, I didn't
I
realize
think we
that.
could. get
This
lot
is
of
like a
kids to
huge
sign up.
program. I
Yeah.
mean, there's like, we don't ever play the same team twice until
Well,
the
teams come from
tournament.
all over.
What's the cost of that league?
I paid for the early registration $140.
And it's 8 weeks? Or
It went from August 17th to October 20th.
about 8 or 10?
And it says like the tournament begins on October 8th and ends the 20th, so I don't know, like, you could probably say it goes from the 17th to the beginning of October.
I don't think we have time to do a survey though, if we're already in a
Right.
crunch.
My fear that this year would be we're not gonna have enough teams.
Yep. I didn't, yeah.
You don't want it to start out bad, because then next year.
But I do,
Like, oh, last
I
year
like
was
the
nice.
idea,
Right.
I do too.
and like I said, I would love to stay in Lennox,
Mhm.
drive to Sioux Falls, invest in,
Yeah,
We can always send a survey out and see what interest is.
and maybe people would ask for refunds, I don't know, I mean, I can't
Are
speak.
you able to a certain date, do you know?
Let's see here. No refunds will be issued after 6/2, so.
And the other thing is this,
So you'd have a little time.
is this, boy, girl, co-ed,
T1 is, I want to say.
So
Yeah,
open to
football
both
is
boys
co-ed.
and girls, but it doesn't say whether they're split into
That was
those.
co-ed.
yeah, because Griffin had, or no, Owen had one of the girls on his team. She was one of the best runners we had.
So Cohen's was also, like with South Dakota Junior Football, we had girls.
Co-ed.
Yep, now they're big enough that they have a girls flag. But I don't see why it couldn't be, I mean, there's no
Right.
tackling, there's no,
'cause I know there's lots of girls around
Yeah.
that would do it, you know, I mean, you see them throwing football all the time.
I don't see why. you
Talking how they're
couldn't
better
do
than
it.
the boys, and,
Cool.
you know. So maybe
I
it'd be
think
worth,
at least we start with a survey.
yeah, it might be worth it, even if we have a condensed year where it's shorter than, you know, where it's half as long as we thought, just to have the first year go, just to see how it goes, I mean,
But then do you charge them, like, so they've already paid for that one? So if we do
I mean, depending on the,
depends if they wanna do
Could
both.
it
I
be
mean,
about
so you would just lose out on $25 of that, even if you got a refund with the South Dakota Junior Football. It says a
That's what-
$25 admin fee will be deducted from any refunds.
So you'd still get 70 profit back, or?
But, I mean, I think it's a cool idea, it would be great, it gets kids involved, but this was my only fear when you said that, I was like, oh, I registered one.
Yeah, and I thought you meant tackle, so I was like, well, the kids that play tackle probably wouldn't want to flag, but I didn't know that.
There's probably a lot of parents that don't take their kids to Sioux Falls either though.
Right?
I think they hate a decent amount do go to T.
I believe so.
I think, I mean, I don't know, man. You said it, just do it and then have it bomb though is horrible, 'cause that's, you don't ever wanna.
Then we'll lose them again.
Right. That's the only thing is.
What if we just hold it up till next year? And then
We could do some.
organize it a little bit better and
Gauge
before
some interest.
people, yeah, before people have signed up for other things, because,
I think that's what you gotta do is, and then put it out in November, December, like, start putting it out there like you do with softball and baseball and.
Mhm.
So if we don't, and he plans to still do it, then,
Right,
yeah,
that's
then
the
you
other
can-
thing, you
then,
might
then we
lose it.
just, then it's never ours.
But that's,
I'm just saying, I'm just,
yeah,
I mean, if he wants to do it,
We just do a survey.
See if
It's
good
not
insurance.
hurt.
yeah, I don't,
Is that, see if good insurance?
I mean, is it different than football camp city, like, I don't know,
I don't know.
depends
I don't know
on
if
it's
it's-
school sponsored,
Right,
right?
and this one.
or the camp
maybe, I don't
sponsor.
know.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing that would keep somebody from doing it on their own, is the insurance.
It's a very valid question.
Yeah.
It would keep me from doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
How fast can we get a survey out just to see? That way it's not a,
We'll do a survey tomorrow.
maybe we just do that first.
Yeah, let's do a survey.
And then we still have time, and I can even, I don't think it costs anything to have them set up registration if we don't, speed it up, if we don't do the.
But we can reply by email, per the survey, as it's not individually, reply how we feel about the survey.
I suppose it depends on if we would have enough to make a team.
We just want to copy the summer rec program survey that we did, and similar to that,
Yeah.
Because I'm so cheap.
age groups, interest level,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
And we could even
And then,
do $10 cheaper than T for the
Yeah.
first year.
Yeah,
Give more interest.
yeah, I would, just be, yeah.
45.
That's so true. Think about
Okay. We'll work on that tomorrow.
Let's see here.
Is that all you
Oh,
had?
that's right, I gotta go.
What's that?
Is that all you had?
Yep, the concessions is on the old business, so I'll bring that up then.
All right, thank you, Recreation Manager. We're gonna move now to old business, Westerman Park Playground, and the plethora of red X trees.
Do you want to hear about the trees too? We can talk about the trees.
The
Have they already been marked?
ash borer trees?
Not all of them. We have a lot more.
There's a lot of them.
what's that?
You know, I will talk about, let me go through, playground first. So we budgeted 50, you already know that. We're good to go with the proposal, the second proposal from Cunningham. They're very happy about that. We won't be placing that order until late summer or early fall.
Okay.
But we do need to raise some more money. So 30,000 is our number. Carly is putting together a GoFundMe page, and a packet for that. So we'll just get that going live as soon as I feel like it's ready, if everybody's okay with that. What I was thinking of doing, and I don't have this in here, but if you know, maybe something along the lines of, you know, the city, sales tax funds, we could match 15. So if the community raises 15, city will do the other 15, and that's not really super impactful to our budget, but let's get as much as we can offset. I do have some concerns about where our sales tax is already this year, so. Nothing serious, I just don't see it growing like it was before, so. Yeah, as soon as that's ready to roll, we will distribute that.
I better go eat some more Mexican. That's what.
That's one thing I'm waiting on, is, we should see that number reflected in the report next month. So I am curious what it's at.
I'm glad it's open.
We saw a significant boom when Chuck's opened, so it was noticeable.
It's nummy.
Ash trees, there's a lot of ash trees in the park. And maybe I should spend more time on this at the next meeting, I should have had it on this one, but, what you see marked with a pink or red X is going to be removed. There's probably a dozen, a little bit better than a dozen marked right now. So that's along Park Drive and in the park. There's one by the tennis courts, which quite honestly, probably want down anyway. It's pretty close to the tennis court. And then 5 or 6 by the playground area, the shelter, those things. The entire strip of trees along Elm Street, in the outfield of the softball field, is going to go away. The entire strip of trees on what is known as Cedar Street to all of us, but it's Aesop's driveway, that entire stretch of trees will be going away as well as a small clump of trees near the highway. It is fairly new to Lennox. We're thinking 2 to 3 years is how long we've had them in town. You usually don't know about it the first year,
Right.
so. That's the first approach, then we're gonna treat the rest of them. I'm not under any impression that the other trees are going to last very long. We are going to treat them, we're gonna try to extend it, but it's here, so. Do you remember that we got the 2024 Danner Urban Forestry Grant? I met with them last week and asked, would you be opposed to us transitioning that from a storm recovery to an emerald ash borer recovery? They were fine with that. It really just changes some paperwork stuff on their end. We should be planting trees in the next 6 weeks.
Are we gonna bring in like seedlings, or are we gonna bring in?
It's
like,
a minimum 2-inch diameter,
Okay.
8 foot tall.
Okay, so we're at least we're gonna have some of the growth already.
Yep.
Okay.
And then their forester has to be here with us during the planting, so they're providing technical assistance during that whole process. We'll have bags for them, just like we do on the other ones.
So what, we're doing like a hardy tree? Like,
There's a list of trees that you can choose from. I am going to, we had, on the quotes that we submitted, we had some maples in there. But we're being cautioned against maples because after elm, or after ash trees, maple's probably the next target for an invasive species infestation, so. Fun stuff. And then we get to talking about street trees, and I've got the first draft of our response and mitigation plan is gonna be up on the council agenda Monday for their review and approval. My hope is that for every tree we take out, we can replace. That's my goal. But we're also talking about 350 ash trees in the parks and in boulevards. Gets a little tricky in boulevards because we didn't plant those trees, but they're in the city right away. So they are not really our responsibility, but if they were to come down and fall on something or somebody, we would be in that chain of liability, whether it's our problem or not, so.
Could we reach out to the Lincoln County Conservation, see what they might have left over after everybody
Yeah,
cuts their trees?
that's an option. And those are fairly cheap trees. My concern is their survivability, because they're all small saplings. They sent their mailer out, what, 2 weeks back maybe?
It's been longer than that.
Has it?
Yeah, I bet they'll be picking up here in the next couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, because they're gonna
When
plant
they
in May.
clearance out whatever they have left, but we got 10 or 15 of them 2 springs ago, and they were 5 or 6 feet tall.
Oh, really?
Didn't lose any of
No,
them.
so if they're like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
when you get
Okay.
the, so then it might be all right.
That might be a good option for us. And it might be one of those things too, where we ask for some volunteer time to start replacing some of these. I'm not terribly concerned about replacing that whole row along the old football field, because that's,
Yeah, no.
they don't really offer our space anything, and at some point they have to come out anyway, because it's gonna be a street. But when you look at, in the park, I think what we're doing now to replace is gonna help a lot. The hard part along Park Drive, next to the baseball and softball fields, is those things are planted way too close to the street and fence anyway. And I know they provide good shade, but they're probably pretty stunted because they're planted too close together, and I don't know that I can necessarily put a tree right where
Well, we should,
the old one was, so,
yeah, I don't think we should have it there anyways.
yeah, it's just not an ideal place for them. I get why they're there, and it looks really nice, but. So, that's the good news for the year. I've learned an awful lot about Emerald Ash Borer in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it sucks.
We will have a couple of open houses with Dr. Ball from SDSU and the state to come and talk and let people know a little bit about what's going on. They're also going to fly a drone in June. They'll fly the whole town and look at foliage and canopy loss and give some idea of how far the infestation's gone. So.
How do you know? Like, do they just?
Oh,
check it out?
there's a few.
You can tell it in your tree when it's dying.
Okay.
Like when it has it, you can see spots. It won't affect, the whole tree might, oh, it's got leaves, it's still, but you'll see spots, especially from the drone up top. Well, there'll be a dead spot here, dead spot.
Yep.
And so.
It's
and then
really weird.
Yes, it's,
You'll notice that it's not healthy. That's one of the first things you'll notice because it's not. The foliage isn't full. You'll have gaps.
yeah.
You'll have shooters. The ends will be green, but there'll be big gaps in between the trunks.
Lots of extra sticks,
the-
from the dead stuff.
The telltale sign is a D-shaped hole in the trunk.
Okay.
You have a bunch of woodpeckers all of a sudden on your ash tree. Well, they're there for a reason.
Yep.
There's a difference. You can see the difference between the hole that a woodpecker is making to get at the larva
Mhm.
and the actual D-shaped hole that they're exiting the tree with. That D-shaped hole is a telltale sign. So 3 weeks ago, I could not answer that question.
Right, now you know.
Just waiting for it to be called in jeopardy.
How do you know? What is Emerald Ash Borer?
What makes a D-shaped hole? If it actually- Okay, concessions.
I have a proposal written up if you want to read it.
Let's empower our family. That's what Trey's thinking.
So my question would be insurance. Like,
T covers the insurance still.
so, okay, so we would cover the insurance, right? Okay. So then, is it, who gets the profit?
Whoever's running it.
The family?
But they pay a rent or a.
In return,
Okay.
in return for the insurance, are they required to be food safe certified or anything like that? Serve safe?
I can find out.
As long as it isn't something that they have to cook, like I don't know if T's got hot food, I'm not sure. But like nachos, just, or like those things you don't have to cook, and it's.
Like hot dogs, nachos? that
But if
kind
it
of
were
stuff.
pork loins and stuff like
Right, if
that,
it's stuff like that, then you'd have to have then it would have to be temperature, it'd
I
have to
think
be.
even hot dogs.
Hot dogs, but, yeah, hot dog, yeah, any kind of meat.
Oh.
So if
no
it's,
bacteria can survive being made into a hot dog.
that's how you make a hot dog.
Wow. Okay.
So it would just be one family to operate all of the concessions, or both, whatever, both ball fields?
Yep, that's what T does, and
Okay.
they've loved it.
Are we looking at doing that this year, or going forward,
Would depend on
just depending on interest.
if we went through with it, if there was interest for this year or someone for next year.
There's still some work to do on my end to figure out what requirements we would have. Does this need to be bid? Does it need to be published?
Right.
That would be the only things that would really hold it up. So if we decide tonight, or let's say council says on Monday night, yes, go ahead and do this. The first date that I could publish this would be the first week of May. It's gotta run for at least 2 weeks. So we're not opening bids until third week of May.
Cuts it close.
Right.
So I mean, they could come into the season and start, we could work something like that out maybe.
If we needed to transition it or something,
Right, so if something you would like wanted
would
to
that
do
work
it-
for you, or
Yeah, but then they would just probably,
transition it like?
Purchase the
at like
product or whatever.
June 15th
Yeah,
or something? Yeah, we just have
Could be
have
some
them purchase
trade-back.
whatever inventory we have.
yeah, and train them.
Yeah, show them how we're doing it and,
Okay.
they could hit the road running.
And that could even be if we did go through with it on the,
Because really, we
Yeah, we
talked
can't.
before the meeting, we can't do this on Monday's meeting anyway. May 13th is the earliest we could.
so then it would for sure be during season, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, if someone's interested in wanting to learn halfway through and.
Yeah.
What if we don't find anybody who wants to do it?
Then we keep doing it.
Okay.
That's me.
And it's Chef Minutes.
That's
I mean,
me.
just feel free, I'm telling you, you can like text me if you need help with things, or just don't feel like you have to do it all alone.
See, we talked at the last meeting too, if it does end up where, you continue to do it, that we could all like, even take a week, like, okay, your trays kind of back up for the week, and if, like, I can't do it, I'll say, hey Kelsey, can you run over there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause
That might be-
sometimes I'm coming to Lennox to get the money bags from here.
Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah,
And
We
clocking
can-
in,
Or
get the
even
money
like going to
bags.
Sam's Club, like
Yeah,
out there.
and then
they
checking
go like-
inventory.
Just text.
I'm there anyway.
there's,
I'm at Sam's Club daily.
there's groups for that, admittance is the first step to recovery.
The stuff I worry about the most is, this is still summer for Trey, and he needs to, take a vacation with family at that point. Those weeks that he can't be here, those ones that I worry about the most.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Get us the dates and we'll get it covered.
Yeah, cause schedules, I should almost have all schedules here soon.
And like she said, I work I have to work till 5, but if you need something picked up, I can pick it up on the way home, like just
Mhm.
text and.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So do we wanna move
Alright.
forward with this then? Do we need a motion to go forward with that, or?
if there's enough interest in this, we can, if you want to recommend going forward with this, there's obviously some details to work out yet, but.
So I motion that we bring this to the council, that we go forward with this.
I second.
If that doesn't work, we'll go to Plan B.
We'll have that on the 5/13 agenda, if anybody wants to attend.
All right, sticking with Trey, the summer physical education program.
So I have some interest from a couple music and band teachers for the Fine Arts Week.
Oh, that'll be good.
I need to reach out to some more outdoor contacts. But my thought is Monday through Thursday, weeks of starting of July 8, 15, or 20 and 22, or hold off until July 15th, and then that week, and then the following 2 weeks. And as far as workers, we have some flyers being mocked up, and would roughly be 10 in the morning to 2 or 3 in the afternoon with a lunch break. So not too overwhelming if someone wants.
What would it be? Sorry.
Probably be, depending on the number of ages, so if there's 10 kindergartners and 10 first graders, they'd probably go together for their hour.
It'd be
So
a racial supplier.
I'm guessing 4 to 5 sessions by the time you lump together the lower numbers. So 4 or 5 hours each day, about 28 or 24 hours a week for those workers. And then I think 3 workers, if it is, 3 workers probably would be enough, because that'd be 8-ish per, 8 kids per adult or worker. Totally Kids is on board of having one of their workers transport any Totally Kids that are signed up.
Similar to how we do the pool, I assume.
I would assume just like that, yeah.
So they kind of help pinch it and
Mhm.
keep an eye on everything.
They would bring and pick up, kind of like they do for the pool.
This would be 16 and over worker, right?
I would
Is that what
assume.
we're-
What's the pool? That's 16,
15.
15.
We could probably go as low as 15, but
Especially if one of them's maybe older too.
we want to have first aid certification.
So how much, I mean, how are these workers paid? Like, how much are we gonna pay them?
We'll do whatever we're doing for groundskeepers and lifeguards. It's like 14 and change.
That's good money. I mean,
It's
so
only
nice
for,
to-
it's, up to 20 hours a week for 3 weeks, so it's not a ton of work, but
No, but just young kids to have something that they can.
And especially
do.
like the sports week, I don't see any need to hire extra people,
Mhm.
especially if the workers are, I mean, someone know how to do
Yeah.
PE games.
Yeah.
But the outdoors and fine arts, I'd want
I might come teach
specialized.
them.
What's that?
I might come teach them.
I think it's
Probably
great.
pull my
idea.
hammy, but
This is how you kick the ball. Oh!
Nate's
there's the other Achilles.
Nate's application came through. We have to vote on hiring you for the
It's like,
summer, right?
No, I'm already good. Other duties as assigned, my friend.
Perfect. We don't need either one then.
keep that scooter handy.
That's right. I got rid of the scooter, I should have kept it.
And especially the first year, I can be there probably a lot of it if needed to.
I think we can get high school kids. I think there's,
Yeah. And if they're working the entire
you know,
3 weeks, maybe they don't even need me the last 2 weeks, or
Yeah,
if they've gone through all
see
the.
how it goes.
Right,
I
exactly.
worry, it's all about expectations and, are they filling their time? We have great lifeguards and great groundskeepers, but they're still 16,
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah,
still
so I can be
setbacks.
there as needed as well.
I think like when you're a lifeguard, like the kids are there to swim, but I don't know, crowd control can get difficult. Like I could never be a teacher for that reason, just because you have to make sure they're all paying attention,
Mhm.
they're all,
hey, you
it
can't
might
get off
be,
my
so I
lawn.
think that looking for kids to do that, you definitely have to.
Right.
You couldn't just hire anybody.
We're
Right.
still gonna ask for volunteers when we do registration,
I think so.
Yeah, I think they have volunteers come in and help, like,
or like have a coach, would you like to coach this group?
it'd
Yeah,
be
that
like,
sounds
we talk about outdoor campus, helping with outdoor week, or,
Mhm.
Young Quist helping with music and fine arts, or Joy, or,
Mhm.
But I think having those outside folks, I see as I'm here to teach you how to do this.
Yeah.
And in that case, our helpers, our employees turn into crowd control.
Yes.
Mhm.
Are we focused, are we making
Right.
good decisions,
Right.
positive words, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So I'm going to work on a job description and we'll get that done as soon as possible. And Carly's already working on advertisements, so.
As far as those dates I brought up, is there any other, does anyone know of any other kids stuff going on that I don't wanna overlap something?
There's always gonna be something.
I would try and stick, you said the second week, like not the 8th, you said the 15th?
Either the 8th, 15th, 22nd we could start, those 3 weeks, or the 15th, 22nd, 29th.
I was just trying to think about like when all.
The Lennox volleyball camp is the 8th, 9th, 10th.
And that is what ages?
It's like K through,
So we would maybe
6.
wanna start the week after that.
No.
So I think the football camp is before that.
Football camp is
She's got it.
June, I
I
think.
think it's June. I thought I saw
It's
that.
June.
Just wanna make sure I wasn't missing anything else. I didn't wanna overlap too much if I could avoid it.
Football camp is like June 5th, 6th.
You know, and Quayle's doing his stuff, right? Did we talk to?
Quail is, well, the like the high school, or the basketball camps are at the end of May. So that will be fine.
So I think, yeah, 15th as the first week,
Yeah.
and then Monday through Thursday, those 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, because you know what else is the Lennox, the shooting basketball camp is also July 8th. And, yeah, so I would start the 15th.
Yeah.
For the calendar on your phone, does it like scream, more space, more space?
Yes. It does actually.
More cloud storage. You reach your,
You've reached your limit of
you reach your
calendar.
128 gigs of cloud storage.
Children activities.
Anything else for recreation? All right.
Any other input or advice or ideas that I'm missing, or?
Do you need help orchestra getting people together for who's that outdoors ones?
Yeah,
Outdoor week.
Like, what are you looking for?
I thought, the
Firearms.
the archery is at,
We could do archery.
Get a hold of that.
Yes, I can message for the 4-H.
Yes.
yeah, 4-H.
I
Sorry,
wanted to say FFA, but I'm like, no, it's
like
not.
in the back of my mind, I'm like, I haven't heard anything, I should probably message, but.
I couldn't find, contact for 4-H.
Okay, I'll get a hold of Wendy.
Wendy, yeah.
Wendy
will
or
work.
Alicia.
Wendy Schmieder.
They were giving me just like the main South Dakota
No.
email, and I was like, I don't think that's gonna be.
Wendy's leader.
Well, they were spam, they're like, no, this is spam.
So I don't know if they charge or how much they charge, but that'd be a nice day.
They're all,
one of the days at
I
least.
know they're pretty good about getting as many people as involved.
That's a great
Yeah.
program. They do a good job.
So that could be one day at least right there, out of the 4 days outdoors week. You're gonna take them fishing on your boat.
Yeah, all,
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
At one time, can you put my worm on? Can you put my worm on? Can you put my worm on?
Canoes.
if we
They
could,
wouldn't take a picture.
if we don't have to transport them, the parents could get them to Lake Foley and Harrisburg.
I wonder what.
GFD might show up. In a good way, not to
was
ticket
like-
anybody.
In Harrisburg, you said?
Yes.
Wow, who are you trying to get in trouble?
Good.
It's like, wow, don't sign up for outdoors. Noted.
Calendar spot open.
Delete.
Oh, good.
You think we could get
Oh, I
somebody from
definitely should.
GFP to come down?
Oh, they love doing that
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, yeah.
We've got a conservation officer in town, we've got 2 or 3 biologists in town that could even help, so.
That sounds good.
All of a sudden it just hit me because I was like, we took the kids on this field trip last year and they had people there showing them like skins and stuff. And
Mhm.
so I was like, maybe they'll come here.
Yeah, outdoor campus will probably come out.
It's outdoor campus, yeah, I was at that one.
And, I mean, you can fish at outdoor campus too.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
yeah, cause I
And
put about
you just
100 worms
Can't
on
keep.
on
Yeah.
hooks.
Yep.
I was putting worms on hooks for about 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, it's not, oh, yeah. I
That
know.
boy.
Oh, yeah. You're
Um,
like, oh, there's plenty of worm left on that, throw that back in.
we caught a lot of fish though.
Oh, yeah.
Does anyone know the details on the community bus? Is that, can we rent, like, pay
Yes.
them?
Yeah,
We could rent it.
yeah, they said, yeah, he's open to doing that.
Talk to Gene.
Gene,
Yeah, I'll talk to Gene.
I'm
I
blank.
see Gene about every day.
I know daycares have rented it
Oh, really?
and stuff. No,
The
daycare.
churches have rented it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so they've gone youth groups, the Gene's driving them to things, and I'm like.
If I need a Uber to Sioux Falls.
Corn maze.
Call them up.
I'll sit there
Party
with the corn maze, all of a sudden here comes Gene pulling up in the bus with the whole youth group, I'm like,
Nice.
all right, anything else, Mr. Mannix, on the programs?
I think I'm done.
All right, scoreboard sponsorship.
So on the agenda I have online, and this, I think Charlie printed this before I finalized it, so. Concessions are already handled under old business. I have under new business, LBSA discussion items. That's the email that I got from Stabler, with, 4 discussion topics. So, the first one was, LBSA would like permission to repair and paint dugouts in the middle field of the softball field and T-ball field this summer. The request is to paint them all to match the concession stands and possibly hire a third-party paint Orioles, or the Oriole logo on the outside. Understand it's temporary until the dugouts are completely redone. I don't have an issue with that. I know, it's something on Drew's radar, but I don't know how close to the center it's on Drew's radar. So, I think that'd be fine. For the Oriole thing, even consider reaching out to the art club at the high school.
Oh, yeah.
They did a heck of a job painting our plow last year with a very angry Oriole throwing snowballs.
That's
And
pretty-
that turned out really well. So.
That's a good idea, I like that.
I will communicate with Drew on that and see if there's anything he has planned, but I don't think there is.
Okay.
This does remind me that we need to schedule our walkthrough next month. So next month's meeting, we'll brief here and then we'll adjourn to our walkthrough.
Yeah, so if we can make sure that, like, there are no loose pieces that need to be,
So I think there's a couple boards
On
the
the
baseball
middle field, I saw there was some that
dugouts.
were loose.
And so my husband and I volunteered to replace the plywood
Okay,
before painting. He's licensed, bonded, and insured. I can get you whatever you might need. And then I think we just would need the paint color.
Could we just go to Ace and just get?
They can get pretty close.
they can. I
Yeah.
can't remember, maybe Brittany or Jason would remember who painted that.
And it's not so close to the
It's far
concession
enough,
stand
yeah.
anyway that it would really, anybody would really notice.
That's not Pearl, it's Off-White.
That's true. Somebody
Wait a minute,
might.
that's eggshell, and that is not.
Yeah.
What's going
You
on?
guys totally missed this up.
We just need to go into Ace and get the whole slew of swatches and then go.
Well, and Ace may actually have the code, so, we try and get most of our paint there, so,
They can come out and match it too.
yeah.
Or you can get a little chip of it, and it goes underneath the eye, and then it'll tell you.
So I don't think that's an
Little
issue.
chip,
Does anybody else have any issue with that?
No, I think that's great. Great for now.
So can we just do it then? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, let me check with Drew, make sure he
Okay.
doesn't have anything in the works already, but,
Okay.
I was trying to talk to him this afternoon, he was trying to get fields ready, so.
What we
By the
had
way, he's
for
doing
him-
Freaking phenomenal job with that.
Yeah, and this is the time of year we really start to worry, because we just got a bunch of rain, it's gonna warm up, and we don't have life groundskeepers until later on, so.
He's
yeah.
doing a great job for, like, us being on the field with the high school girls and stuff. He is.
I couldn't
oh my
believe
gosh.
that we had fields ready today.
I know,
2 inches of rain.
right, we practiced out on the field, like, we
Could
didn't think
not
we were
believe
gonna, and then we were out there, and it was great.
I drove by last night at 6, and there was, the entire infield of the baseball field, the big field,
Yeah,
was just water.
yeah.
Middle field and softball field, it was in the predictable spots,
Yeah.
but it was draining, so.
Yeah, he's doing great, like, he's really, really good.
Scoreboard, signage and sponsors, I did have some information in your packets on the scoreboard. It sounds like you guys, like LBSA reached out to Pride Neon?
Orville actually
Okay.
popped in during our meeting at church. And
Okay.
he said that was the bid he was given.
And then Drew had reached out to a company in Centerville that might be a little cheaper. We do have a really good relationship with Pride Neon though, so we may end up just going with them. This is about what I was planning on doing. So We got what the school does for their scoreboard at the football field from Buck Miller to make sure that we weren't way out of line or anything. But this is pretty much what the plan will be. I would say Terry Peak, they're not locally owned at all anymore. He sold off. And maybe Sunnyside would want to do something, but we can help you figure that out.
I did get a security bank.
They would definitely want to be
They
involved.
wanted a spot, and so I had called Nicole and left a message
Okay,
that I told her we would kind of let her know because we didn't really have any details at that point. But
so I would bet that Carly will have a packet put together here by the end of the month. And if I can get that out to, who do you guys want to lead this? Do you want LBSA to lead it? Do you want Park Board to lead it?
I think it'd be good coming from LDSA, because then it's not feel like it's city pushed.
Yep.
I think that will go along with that. Because the city, we have enough thing like park, playground equipment, all, so I think.
Well, and it invariably comes back to, we pay X amount to the city for this, how come they don't already,
Right,
Does Octane Inc. do signs?
yep,
they do.
I can reach out.
If you want to reach out to your guy there, that'd be fine. We do quite a bit of business there as well, so,
Got 2 neighbors.
and I think they're doing some work for us.
2 of the ones are my neighbors.
Okay.
I was getting bids for other kinds of signs that we were working on, and the most reasonable one was fast signs. in Sioux
Yeah.
Falls. And I called 1, 2, 3, 4, I called Sinorama, Fast Signs, Ace, and Pioneer.
What type of sign, like size, should I ask about?
Well, these, what I was asking about were like your corrugated yard signs, and then also like a concession stand.
To put on the sides, some dugouts and concession stands.
Yeah.
So the ones on the, if you want to talk to Orville or Drew has the measurements too.
Okay.
He can get you the info on what he's getting them quoted out at. When I first talked to Carly about putting this package together, I said, my guess is gonna be about $6,000 for the sponsorship. Yeah. You guys wanna talk, so LBSA would like to apply those funds to a new batting cage project this year. Late this year?
depends on when we get the money.
Okay.
Next week?
Do we have an idea on cost for that at this point?
Yes.
Yes.
Concrete, nets,
I got a concrete bid from a local guy
okay,
who also touched base with Lindy.
And didn't Drew give us an idea of,
The cages themselves, yes. I want to say we were right around 30.
that's what I'm thinking, but my phone's dead, so.
playing too many games.
Yeah, I wish.
Too many quotes.
Many
Okay.
things in your calendar too.
No, I asked them.
Is the
Yeah.
majority of the cost concrete?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Concrete was.
Six, no, they're like 6,
Or the-
yeah. You can get a $3,000 one, I don't suggest it.
Yeah.
Concrete was just under 20,000.
okay. And then nets were,
15? 15 for double.
and you wanna put those between the big field and the middle field?
I have to go back there and look, but yeah, somewhere in that
The
area.
fence will be done
Yeah.
this week, I think, so,
But I think it wasn't where
the current ones.
the current one is, so you could still use that while building a new one, was my thought, but I hadn't been back there.
I don't think the timeline is impossible, but it'll be fall.
So I have a question on that is there a chance for the second one to be closer to the other 2 fields? Because the other one's right behind the big field, and that other, so is there, to have it closer to concession stand and stuff, the other?
You got the slope to deal with back there, so we'd have to move a bunch of dirt in, which isn't impossible, but we've already dedicated our spoils for the central basement floor
Yeah.
project.
Right. So that would, because it
Um,
would make it more accessible, so.
Maybe that's the next step, is figuring out what a site plan from LBSA for where you wanna put it,
Mhm.
what it's gonna cost, and then I can take that to
Just so make the softball players feel included on it type thing, you know,
Yep.
because if it's, when it's over there, nobody thinks that they can use it. I'm like, anybody can go over
Anybody
there.
can use it.
That's,
I feel like once the double one is done, maybe down the road sometime, that's like a single over towards softball, cause the old one is about shot, isn't it?
Well, if they put the double, you could put that single over, when you get those trees taken out, you could put a single by that softball field. And that would be for people to warm up, like pitchers to warm up before the games, things like that. That would be very,
We've already got that though. It's already over there, right? Isn't that what you're talking about? Sarah?
No, I mean, it's just.
That, because that was on, yeah, that was one of the things we were gonna talk about was finishing that
The bull runs?
bull run. Is that what you mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I know there's pitching mounds and there's a spot by the pitching, so that you're gonna have like a backstop then?
The closer we get to the concession stand, the more we're gonna interfere with future. Well, no, because we just moved the fence in.
Right.
Let's just see what some site plans might look like, some proposed sites, and if you need to give me general locations, I can always put it on GIS and put the shapes on there.
Yeah, because we just played at Beersford on Monday, the high school team, and it was really handy. They had a one net thing that being it was 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts, you couldn't do anything else. And so then they just got some swings in their cage that they had in between the fields. And so then they had another one over by the baseball field. So they had two separate ones for two separate.
Bullpens on the softball field, what else do we need, just the nets?
You got dirt spots, but I don't know.
I think Drew was asking for fencing and 3 posts,
Yeah.
and the LBSA said we could provide those, whether we just need to write a check or go get the materials or.
Okay, so why don't I just have Drew price all that out and get back to you on,
Yeah, because right now people are warming up and that's where people like to sit and balls are flying by everybody.
Yeah, that's not good.
Well, especially JV girls warming up.
So the cages that Drew sent the link to us, for 14 by 14 by 70 foot, we need 70 foot.
Yeah.
Okay, double stall is 16,200. So we'd be at 36.2 before taxes.
Well, that's about right. That's a good one though. I mean, you don't want to get a crap. I mean, it's just not worth it.
Yep.
And that's probably a double net.
Yep.
You know, like with the cheaper ones are single net. This is probably a double net. That would be.
okay?
You could probably hit 2 different ways then, can't you?
Yeah, you can have 2 people going at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Or
would,
you-
yeah.
or could it be 4?
No, because everything will go, it doesn't stop, unless you put a divider in the middle, you could do 4. You could soft toss 4,
Or if you,
but if you had a pitching
or
machine.
if you were hitting from the middle
Mhm.
to the outsides, couldn't you do 4?
Falling back, you would have to have some kind of permanent kind of divider, because if you're fouling stuff off, it'll roll up and you're gonna hit somebody.
I guess soft toss, yeah.
Right. If you're doing T-work, yeah, T-work you could go
4 at a time.
4 at a
If you
time.
wanted to do 4 at a time, they do have 80-foot ones, and it only adds $179 onto the total
No, that's
cost.
not bad at all.
I'd rather go bigger,
Yeah.
and that's,
$179 total?
So it'd be
That extra
16,379.
yeah,
That's your option.
yeah, I would go bigger, 100%.
You'll spend more on concrete, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Middle field fence project, LBSA is asking for clarification on the funding provided for the project, what current plan is being applied to as the backstops weren't included in the last proposal. Yeah, you noticed that too. But they did get done.
Oh, they did?
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So, I said to Drew the other day, I think we took that out of the last proposal to make sure that it fit everybody's budget. But they're working on it. So, I kinda wanna go back to the quote that we signed and make sure that, listen, if they're doing it, we'll pay it regardless, right? It needed to be done, so I'm not worried about it. But yeah, that part is actually, the fencing is all up and everything at this
Yep.
point. I don't, there's been some question about whether we put those 2x12 boards back up on the bottom.
So we were.
I I don't care to have them up, because I think that's actually what damaged the fence in the first place. I don't think it's balls coming against it, but
So I sent Trey a picture, we were down in Vermillion playing them, and what they had, and it was absolutely awesome, is the backstop, but it was a foam pad on that where your boards were, and it was so much better for ricochets, for all those things that.
similar to what we got in Big Field.
Right, and all it was that and then a netting is all they had for the backstop. And it worked amazing, but it's so much better than the boards, and it was more,
Wider too.
yes, and it's just more, like, you know how to play it better, it's not,
This is not as unpredictable as a
Right.
2x12. You hit a knot, it goes around the direction.
and
So that's really the only thing that's outstanding there. Assuming it dries out, okay, they've got everything pounded in, they've got all the posts done, they've got all the concrete done. They really just need to string the rest of the fence, so, and then we'll be pulling out the old poles, so, and trashing those. The other thing we have to think about for those, batting cages is irrigation lines. We've got irrigation back there, so. Yeah,
So the last, I don't know if this was a bid or whatever, but it was 18.7. Was that just for the fence without the backstop
I think so.
or whatever, right?
I'd have to go back and look again, but I can't remember what, that sounds right for the POA side.
Yeah, so then that would just add a little bit to that.
It
And then
would add on to
LBSA, we're just kind of thinking, we split it. Is
If we
that what
can,
the
yes.
thought is?
That's what I want.
Okay.
But I think you guys maxed out what you would contribute, so I think you had a cap on it, if I
I
remember
think we
right.
had it like 13,000.
And I don't, we'll probably be close to that, obviously, so.
Without the dugouts done?
Well, the front of the dugout was, the chain link there too, I think was replaced.
Right, but are we gonna replace the whole dugout with chain link at some point?
With chain link?
we mentioned the opening up the softball field and the baseball field with all chain link.
Yeah.
So
But that's the remodel we're talking about.
but that's the remodel part, that wasn't part, that's coming when we do the facelift.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, okay.
Okay.
All right, I think that finishes our list. Can I get a motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Have a great day.
I oppose.
You
stay?
would.
A little longer.
No, I just got out of practice and then I want to go home and eat some supper.